Let's get real for a minute. Most of us fail on carnivore, not because carnivore doesn't work, but because we find it hard to get past our habits. If you've got these 5 things, then you're not one of those people. Hi, if we're just meeting, my name's Claire, Carnivore Claire. I've lost 130 pounds eating a high-fat carnivore diet. I also eat OMAD 1 meal a day, and I've gone from being bedbound, in pain and morbidly obese to this, a healthy BMI and in the best health of my life. Score yourself from 0 to 5 as we go through. Each sign you have is 1 point. 3 or more means you are ready. If you've got less than 2, use the drills that I talk about throughout the video and you too can be a success. So the first sign is that you're using food for fuel. You are not using food to reward, to comfort, or to entertain. You are only eating food because it is a fuel source and it's going to give you energy to go throughout your day. Let's get real for a minute. Carnivore, by design, is a boring diet. It's a very restrictive diet. We eat meat, we eat eggs, some of us eat cheese, and that is pretty much it. For a long time, I incorporated cheese just to keep giving me a bit of excitement. But the truth is that food should not be there for excitement. We need to get our excitement elsewhere. Carnivore is boring, but boring can kill those cravings. Because when you were on the SAD diet and you thought about what you were going to eat, which is probably 23 hours of the day, you would think about foods that you enjoyed. So it would be high sugar foods, high carb foods, foods that gave you a dopamine hit. And so when you come to the carnivore diet, and you're just eating meat and eggs, it gets really boring really quickly. But if you are really dedicated to the cause, then that boredom becomes a tool for you. Because what will happen is you'll get so bored of eating carnivore that you will only eat when you're hungry. And only eating when you're hungry is the key to success. Furthermore, when you're eating to fuel and you are going through that boredom, so you're no longer eating for entertainment, monotony becomes your friend. I know for myself that my most successful times on carnivore is when I'm eating the same food every day. I know what to expect. I eat it, it fuels me, it stops me feeling hungry, and I go about my day. Those are the times when not only am I the most successful, i.e. I stay on plan, but I also lose the most weight because I'm not thinking about food and wanting to eat all of the time. There's a lot of people that like to make recipes that replicate SAD diet, recipes like carnivore bread, etc. And if you like that, that's great. But for me, I steer well away from that. Monotony is my friend. Monotony gives me consistency, which gives me results, which gives me success. I see a lot of people fail on carnivore because they have to add sauces. They're having drinks that are not carnivore friendly. They are adding this and that and this and that, as they cannot get their head around the fact that they just need to eat clean carnivore foods. There's so many reasons why that will help you to fall off of the wagon, to not be successful, to not lose the weight that you want to lose. And that is a video all on its own. But you're going to be out of ketosis. And if you're not going to be out of ketosis, you're going to raise your insulin. And when you do that, you're going to get food noise. And then you're going to be thinking about food. And then you're going to want to eat food even though you are not hungry. Let me know in the comments below whether you are someone who likes to eat the same foods every day or whether you like to mix it up. I really do feel that those who will eat the same foods every day are going to be the most successful. So a little self-test for you. Could you eat the same 3 meals for 7 days in a row? If you can, you score 1 point for this section. So I've got a micro drill for you. Why don't you lock down to 3 meals? It can be for as long as short of a period as you like, but stick to 3 meals, rotate them, nothing else added. You can have salt, you can have electrolytes, and you can have butter. So the next sign that you will be successful on carnivore is that hunger doesn't equal an emergency. You don't panic at hunger. You understand that hunger is information, not a crisis. Hunger is a natural emotion that we all feel. It's the body's way of getting fuel into our body to sustain us. But because we have had years and years of abuse of that hunger signal, we no longer understand the signal, and we no longer understand what it actually means and what our body actually needs. Now, if you haven't eaten much and you are genuinely hungry, you should not ignore that hunger. But if you know you're going to eat at a certain time and you know that you're not going to starve, then you've got to understand what hunger is. If your body is trying to convince you to eat, then probably every 10 to 15 minutes you'll get a hunger signal. When I did my 3-day water fast, those signals did come in. I wasn't especially hungry on my fast because I was drinking electrolytes a lot. And that's a point that when you are hungry, you might not actually be hungry. You might be thirsty, you might be bored. There could be all sorts of reasons why you're getting what you think is those hunger signals when it's not those. Something I often told myself when I was on my weight loss plan, I was eating 1 meal a day, so I was going 23 hours without food, and there were times that I felt hunger. I would justify it to myself. You might be feeling hunger, but it's not the end of the world. Nothing's going to happen if I don't eat. And more often than not, it passed within a few minutes. As soon as I focused on something else, it would go away for a while. If it was persistent, then I would end up eating, and that's the right thing to do. But if you are hungry and you can divert your brain away from it, then you were never hungry to begin with. Drinking water is a really good way to test that out, to see whether that's what's going on. It's really important on carnivore to be able to learn to live with the sensations in your body. You're going to experience a lot of sensations. When you first start, you're going to get keto flu. You are going to feel not your best initially, and then you're going to feel amazing. You're going to feel euphoric. You're going to feel hunger. You're going to feel satisfaction. You're going to feel meat aversion. You're going to feel like you just don't want to eat anything at all. All of those sensations are very extreme sensations. Carnivore is an extreme way of eating, but it doesn't mean you have to act on them. Fastest way to fail on the carnivore is to be keeping a stash of food that you can eat for emergency cases. I don't keep any of that. I've got eggs and I've got meat in my cupboard and a bit of fat. Anything else that I am likely to binge on, to overeat, to pick at, it doesn't come into the home. And that has really, really helped with my success. And if you're someone who likes to graze while you're cooking, that is going to be a problem as well. Because by the time your food is ready, you've already eaten enough, but you're going to eat your food because it's there. I actually did this yesterday. And as a one-off now and again, it's not a problem. But if it becomes a habit, that is a problem. Before I started cooking, I felt really, really hungry. So I got 2 steaks out of the freezer and cooked them at the same time. But I ate the first one and I wasn't actually hungry for the second one. Because the second one was there, cooked, I ate it anyway. It wasn't the end of the world. It was a little bit more protein. It was a sirloin steak. But there's a lesson in there. If you only cook what you need, then you're going to see better success. Set a 10-minute timer with me now. Sip water with a little bit of salt. I've got electrolytes in here. Change your location. I'm not going to move right now, but change your location. Stand, sit, stretch, do something different. And then when the timer ends, ask yourself, am I still hungry? In most cases, the hunger wave will have disappeared. And you can do that anytime you are struggling with hunger. If you can ride your hunger without snacking, you score 1 for this point. If you cannot, then I've got a little challenge, a little drill for you. Try OMAD, or at least not eating for 20 to 22 hours. No snacks. Use the 10-minute drill every time hunger becomes a problem for you. And after a couple of days, you will see your hunger come down significantly. So the next sign that you are going to be really successful on carnivore is that you track the signals. You are aware of how much you eat and how it makes you feel. You're not blindly, intuitively eating. If there's one message that I want you to take away from my videos, it's that carnivore does not cancel out physics. I hear a lot of advice out there on the carnivore. It's the mainstay advice of carnivore is that you should eat as much as you want until you're full, and then you will, I don't know, lose weight. All the weight will fall off. And that is not the truth for most people. A few people it works for, but for the majority it doesn't, because we have been overeating for years and years and years. They call it reverse dieting. So the idea is that you just don't diet at all. You just eat when you want to eat, and you eat until you're full, and then you stop. The problem with that is that after years and years of yo-yo dieting, you don't have those hunger signals anymore. You don't know when to stop. Your stopping is way past the point of when you would actually naturally need to stop. And so what happens is the weight piles on. Leave me a comment if this is you, because I have spoken to many, many people that this has happened to. My view and the way that I lost weight was the opposite of that. It was to rein my eating in. I spent 10 years morbidly obese, and in that time I ate abundantly. I tried a range of different diets. They didn't work, but carnivore did, because it is very filling and it does satisfy you. And in the first month, I just ate what I wanted and I didn't lose a thing. The only way I started to lose weight on carnivore is when I started to control the amount of volume that I was eating. And for me, I did that with fasting. It became easier to track my patterns, and this is the most important thing. I've spoken in many, many videos now about the need to track your patterns, review and adjust. So I would recommend that you count your calories for 2 to 3 days. You get a rough idea of how many calories you are eating. And then during that time, you weigh daily. You see what the scales are doing. If you're losing weight, then great. You don't have to change anything. If you're stagnating, you maybe need to lose 100 or 200 calories from your diet. If you're putting a lot on, then you need to lose considerably more volume from your diet. You collect data, you review the data, you adjust the data, and you look for the new results. It's not the fact that you have to count calories every day for the rest of the time on carnivore. I don't do that. It's just taking them for a few days and getting a rough idea. So if weight loss is your barometer of success for the carnivore diet and you need to lose weight on the carnivore diet in order for it to be a success, then this is how that happens. Success in anything, not just weight loss, comes from collecting, reviewing and adjusting data. You always want to be changing things up. In terms of my videos, I look in my analytics to see what parts of the videos that you enjoyed, and I adjust my future videos for your enjoyment, which gives me more success, more views, etc. It's the same with weight loss. One of the biggest mistakes that I see on Carnivore for people who want to lose weight is they think that because they're eating clean, they're going to lose weight. So they might listen to the advice that eat as much as you want, and they're under the illusion that as long as it is clean food, i.e. steaks or unprocessed meat, then they're good to go because it's clean, so that means you're going to lose weight. Eating clean is great for autoimmune issues. It is great for your general health and well-being. It will bring inflammation down, but it will not on its own cause weight loss. There's the same amount of calories in a clean steak as in a dirty steak. So I have got a simple dashboard for you. This is going to help you. W, for your fasting window, the amount of hours that you are eating and fasting. P, for plate, what size plate are you using? Can you reduce your plate size, because that can often make you feel fuller. F, for food noise. Rate your food noise from 1 to 5. E, for energy, the same again, rate your energy from 1 to 5. W, for your waist measurement, which you want to measure weekly. I did this at the start of my journey and it helped a lot. You want to do this every day, and this will give you some really informative data that is going to help you move forward. Your little drill, if you can do this for 7 days, then you get 1 point for this section. If you can't, a little micro drill for you on a daily basis. Log your W, P, F and E every night. The next sign that you are going to be arranging success on Carnivore is that your decisions are made. There is no negotiating. You have stopped negotiating. Rules live outside of your feelings. This is something that I haven't spoken about a lot, but in terms of Carnivore and my own success, this is one of the things that is really up there, in an understated way, really helped me out. When you go on Carnivore, the beauty of Carnivore is there are little decisions to make. When you're on the SAD diet, you've got so many decisions to make, but on Carnivore, you're so limited in what you're eating that the decisions are made for you. And if you're not someone who's into recipes and things like that, then you have even less decisions, and that is going to play into your favour. What I found, and what you'll probably find as well, is that with fewer decisions to make, it made my willpower stronger. And I think this came about because I wasn't overthinking it. I overthink a lot in my life, but Carnivore isn't one of those things. I think what you'll find on Carnivore, once you're in the flow, you're in the monotony, this is what the successful people find anyway, the mental wrestling goes away. We know it, don't we, when we're on the SAD diet, the mental wrestling is insane. We are negotiating with ourselves. We are doing all sorts of things to come to a decision of what we are going to eat. But on Carnivore, none of that matters. So the people that are successful are those that are not negotiating. They are drilling down. They know what they want and they know what they need to do to achieve it. You are more likely to fail if you are saying, oh, it's just one occasion where, you know, you're falling off the wagon. It's a birthday. I have to eat birthday cake. You might come to carnivore and say, I'm going to do carnivore, but I'm still going to have my Mountain Dew. Or I'm going to do carnivore, but if I'm going out for the night, then I won't worry about it so much. These are rules that you are creating in your head, and those rules are the very thing that are going to make you fall off the wagon and ruin your success. So tell yourself this: if it is not on my list, it is a no. If hunger hits off window, I will do the 10-minute reset that Claire is telling me to do. If I want variety, then I change the cut of meat, not the plan. Your environment is so important in this. So I've got some environmental tweaks for you. Remove snacks from your site. Even better, remove them from your home. Pre-portion your plate, or better still, use smaller plates. I use smaller side serving plates because the bigger ones are too heavy for me, but they also serve as helping me to feel more full because I don't see extra space on my plate. Write down your 3 anti-rules and read them before you have your meal and at 8 p.m. every evening. If you follow your anti-rules for 3 days, then you get 1 point for this section. So the next sign that you are a phenomenal success on carnivore is you think in months, not days. You see carnivore as a metabolic reset, not a quick shred. I see so many people come to carnivore who want really quick results. They say, I've been eating carnivore for 3 days and I haven't lost any weight. These are the very people that will not be successful. In order to be successful on carnivore, you have to understand that this is a long game. You can, in some cases, see weight loss fairly quickly. I did myself, but you also have to understand that carnivore is something you're going to be on forever. I've been doing carnivore for 18 months, and if I suddenly decided I've lost my weight now, I'm healthy again, I don't have to do carnivore anymore, I can go back to how I was eating before, my weight would go straight back on. So I know that in order to stay healthy, I have to stay on carnivore for life. Change within the body takes time. When you're on carnivore, there's hormonal changes, there's behavioural changes, there's neurological changes that are all taking place in the background of your journey throughout eating this way, while at the same time doing the weight loss. As we spoke about in the previous video, the weight loss will really encourage those other things to compound and give you the best results possible. But you do have to be patient with it. Every day you're going to see little wiggles. Some days will be better than others, and you might have a good day, have a bad day, and then you're like, oh, you're wiggling, and you're like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. And for those that are successful, that is exactly what they do. They zoom out. For me, when I was losing my weight, I was very focused, micro-focused on the small detail of every day in order to stay on plan, to get what I wanted. But I was also zooming out. For example, I took daily scale measurements because that really helped me to stay on plan day to day. I also took body measurements, which I only took on a monthly basis, which enabled me to zoom out and see the bigger picture. Both of those things, the micro and the macro, really compounded together to keep me on plan, to keep me consistent and make me successful. The fastest way to fail on carnivore is to be so focused in on the micro only and not the macro. So if you're weighing every day and you have a crisis if you see the pounds go up and then you start overeating and then the pounds go up even further and before you know it you're off the wagon, that is not going to help you. I had many days where I would jump on the scales and I saw an increase. I had to be able to tell myself that it's very short term, it's for one day. That is why I use the scales in this way, because it was very useful for this, is that when I saw the scales go up, I would rein my food in for a day and then the next day the scales would go down. It's really important you don't get into that shame loop. Nothing's working, I'm doing it wrong, I can't do it, I'm falling off the wagon, because that is not the route to success. The route to success is having some kind of equilibrium about what you're doing and measuring and adjusting, as we spoke earlier. So for this one, if you can follow your plan for 14 days and completely ignore the noise, then you score 1 point. If you can't, then I challenge you to do OMAD with no snacking and do not review it until you get to day 14. Red flags are not just for relationships, they're also for the carnivore way of eating. Collecting recipes does not equal progress. Buying gadgets does not equal progress. Endless research without starting does not equal progress. Calling overeating healing does not equal progress. So let me know in the comments down below what you scored out of this video. I'd be really interested to know. If you scored between 0 and 2, then you need to pick 2 drills that I've mentioned today. If you scored between 3 and 4, then you are ready for success. You just need to rein it in a little bit, tighten your window and plan your week. If you scored 5 out of 5, well done. You are well on your way to success. Why don't you run a 7-day strict OMAD and carnivore plan to get you pushed even further towards the finish line? Comment your score and the drill that you will be doing. If you enjoyed this video, then you want to watch this one next, which is the carnivore myth that keeps you fat. It pairs perfectly well with this video.